Okay, hi there, and welcome to Hell. My name's Trevor, and this is Luke, and today we're going to be covering two games. So we obviously had Düsseldorf on the weekend, and we were a little bit disappointed. So Luke made the huge journey down to the Millerntor Stadion, and I was in the studio, and we were a little bit miffed. I thought, okay, midweek fixture, we'll hope for a bit of a better uplifting story to tell. How did that go, Luke? I missed the game. I was packing, but fill me in.
Well, you didn't miss much, honestly. Finished 0-0 against Kiel at the Millerntor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty par for the course, really, especially combined with that Düsseldorf match. It was more sort of a lot lacking in attack, some defensive errors at the back. Yeah, starting to feel like Groundhog Day with these matches.
Well, I mean, there's only the benefit is there's only one game left this side of the season, the winter pause rather. So, are you relieved by that now, or is it okay? We can still finish on a high, finish on a win, or is it just hey, just get this winter pause up and running so we can start planning?
Yeah, I would have been much happier going into it with a few more points in those last games. Our next match against Karlsruher is going to be massive. We really do need points in that to drag ourselves out of the relegation zone, because it's going to be hard to enjoy the World Cup. Well, it's going to be hard to enjoy that wreck of a World Cup anyway, but it's going to be even worse if we're sitting in the relegation zone for all of it.
Yeah, it's going to be brutal. But if my maths is correct, I don't know if you've done the calculation yet, but in the last, is it 12 games? So Düsseldorf and Kiel included. The last 12 games, we've won one against Haasfall. Okay, fair enough. And then it's 6 draws and 5 losses, which means 9 points from 36. Is that right?
Sounds about right, yeah.
That's brutal.
It's not great, is it?
No. All right. Cool.
I mean, all season we've played 16 matches and we've had 16 points.
What are the chances of surviving relegation with 36 points?
Yeah, not great at all, but there are some promising signs. I mean, as I said, you could have even argued that we were the better team in Düsseldorf, I reckon. It was just lacking quality in attack, and then just a lapse in concentration during a transitional moment at the back led to their goal. But we did.
Should we start with the Düsseldorf game then? Should we start with the Düsseldorf game?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
All right, let's start there. Okay, right. That's where the timeline starts. Did you have any pre-game drunken slur for us? Because you'd been drinking for 48 hours by now?
Yeah. This was actually no, I was behaving myself. It wasn't that bad. So the first clip of me you're gonna hear, I'll probably be relatively sober, but I'm not making any promises about halftime and full time.
Cool. Well, let's see what sober Luke had to say.
Yeah, if it's actually intelligible, because I haven't listened back to it. If the quality's decent enough for anybody to hear, then I'll drop it in now. Otherwise, it's getting cut. Hello everyone, right? I'm just standing in the concourse here. We are 15 minutes until kickoff. The Ultra St. Pauli were selling scarves on the way in, so there's going to be some sort of choreo. Keep an eye out for that. So looking forward to it. The stadium's fucking half empty. Obviously the St. Pauli fans sold out their allocation, but the Düsseldorf home fans per showing, I know it's a big stadium, 55,000 or whatever, but expected better. The stadium is actually decent on the inside. You're quite close to the pitch, which is good, but on the outside it's a fucking horror show. Looks like a fucking prison. It's brutal with these big stupid sunshine logos from some insurance company or bullshit plastered over the top of it. It's disgusting, but I'm looking forward to a match. Should be a good one. Check in on you all at half time. Cheerio. Yeah. You only had 33,000 people in, and it's a 55,000 capacity stadium. Obviously the St. Pauli fans were fantastic as ever. There's no complaining there, but the Düsseldorf fans really struggled to fill that stadium. But the outside of the stadium's shite. it's looks like a prison. It's just like corrugated fence surrounding it, and it's out in the suburbs as well, which is crap. Took me like 40 minutes to get there from the hostel.
Oh, geez. All right. Okay. Fine. I didn't know that. But when I saw the capacity of the stadium, as you say, nearly 55,000. It's like, wow, that's big for a second tier team. But there's a few of those in the Zweite Bundesliga. But I guess that's to be expected because it's quite a big sport over here. Quite
They do
popular.
like their football over here. Yeah.
I've heard that, right? It's yeah. No, fair enough, cool. And I mean, yeah, we didn't start too badly. The first minute, I thought we were absolutely atrocious. We didn't know what the hell was going on.
Hmm.
I was hitting the panic button already. 55 seconds in, we just looked like we so disjointed and disorganized and clueless and scared and tired and distracted. I don't know what other words to throw at it, but it was horrifying. We grew into it, right? But the first minute is just, what the hell's going on here? This is farcical.
Yeah, I didn't think we were too bad in that first half overall.
Mm.
Um, you know, like we did have a lot of the ball, but as we know, that doesn't really mean a lot with this St. Pauli team if they can't create any chances off the back of it.
Yeah.
But defensively looked okay, um, as good as ever in midfield, obviously, and controlled the tempo of the game and stuff like
Well,
that.
well,
But then
Jackson
came
Irvin
the
had
goal.
that header, right? He had the header quite early on, which forced the keeper to make a nice palm wristy kind of save over. And then I think he had another header leaning backwards from the resulting corner. So he had a couple of
Mm.
quick fire with his head chances, right? We established last time out where he's through on goal with the ball at his feet. But maybe it's best with the head. So he came closer this time, so that's good. But
It's worrying signs though that one of our biggest goal threats is a centre midfielder who's throughout his career never really been known for his goal prowess.
yeah, Dasher and
It's sort of
Almido
damning.
they didn't really fire or click much against Düsseldorf.
Have they all season? I don't really think
There were
so.
glimpses in the last few games, but not not to set the world alight. But Dashner's got on the goal sheet a couple of times. The scoring sheet a couple of times. But neither of them set the world alight now. And again, Jackson Irvine was the only real goal threat, I think, in the first half. I'm trying to cast my mind back. There was nothing else really in the first half, was there, from our
Nothing
side?
of significance anyway. No,
And then obviously
as
their
far as I
goal
can
was,
remember.
I mean, their Hennings could have had two in the first half, no?
Yeah. So, what did his goal come first, or did the 1v1 with
Goal
Fasuge
came
come?
first,
So that was around like the 20
22nd minute.
seconds,
Yeah.
and it was just a big hoof up the pitch from the keeper.
It looked
Um,
planned though,
hmm,
because he kept taking short corners and then he waved his guys forward. He kind of spotted something. Maybe they were trying to get, I can't remember the striker's name, number 9, began with a K. They're trying to get him onto Svigalo, but as soon as that happened, he was like, right, okay, I'm going for this. Just lumped it, as you said. And then Svigalo beat into the ball, looked a bit half-hearted in his attempt to win it. And yeah, your man was through.
I think
Sweet strike
there
again.
was I think there was some confusion between Eric Smith and Svigala about who was going to go for it, which meant that whenever Svigala eventually made the decision to challenge, um, was it Kovnagi for the header?
Yeah.
And he was a bit late. Like if you watch the replay, he was nowhere near it in the end. And then he flicked it on,
Yeah. Is
which
it
to Hennings. And to be fair to Hennings, like it was a great shot, and he took it first time before Nicola had a chance to set himself.
yeah,
But do you think that Vasige takes some of the blame there for not positioning himself correctly or getting back onto his line quick enough? Because he did get beat at his near post.
yeah, he did, and he did got a hand to it, but
Mm,
it was a really sweet strike. And obviously, this guy played for St. Pauli back in 2011, 2012. So he's. I think it seems like Timo Schultz had a bit of non-shaking hand moment with him. Even had a stint with Burnley I just saw in the Championship a few years back. This Hennings guy, so he's not too shabby, but that strike was perfect, right? The same as was it last time out? We got beat by a wonder strike as well.
Yeah, see, this is the really annoying thing is that we could have enough chances to have an XG of 3.5, and well, we won't even come close, and then they'll have a hoof ball up top with a flicked on header, and all of a sudden it's thumped into the back of the net, and you're just sitting there thinking, fucking hell, like, can we get some of that, please?
Yeah, exactly right. I'll trade in the 3.5 for an actual goal, please. But yeah.
Yeah, you can keep your 70% possession for a fucking hoof ball up top and then a thump in the back of the net, honestly.
Route 1 football, perfect.
Because even though we did have most of the ball, even with going down to 10 men, which we'll get onto, like,
yeah,
there wasn't a lot created. And it's just
again a nearly defensive mix-up that caused Hennings to be through again, because was it a fees that got in the way of Eric Smith this time?
Yeah, I think you're right.
And then Eric Smith out of position because the fees kind of cut in front of him. And then Hennings was through. But again, this time it was a good save by Facile. He stood up well.
Mm-hmm.
Could have been 2-0 down by half time with most of the play, most of the possession, most of the chances. But they had 2 breaks and 2, well, definitely 1, but nearly 2 goals. Pretty brutal.
But even though, as you said, we might have had the more chances, there's nothing really, no great chances. And it's the same story whenever we come on to the Kiel match tonight. It was, even though we're playing a lot in their half, not a lot of clear-cut chances are getting created. So whether that's, obviously we know we have problems in the striker position, but are they getting the service that they need?
That's also a good question too, yeah. Potentially, because put Egerstein or Otto or Matanovic in a different lineup with more creativity to create these chances, are they going to finish?
No.
It's always easy to blame the strikers, right? It's easy to say they're not scoring. But there's a little bit of pre-work that goes into scoring a goal. It's not just the striker who shoots and scores.
Yeah, I guess so. But then you've got to think of how many times did Bergstella score out of a half chance.
True.
It doesn't always have to be put on a silver platter for them. A proper, legit goal scorer should be able to turn in some of those low expected goal chances.
That's true. And he even made a lot of things himself as well, to be honest. So, yeah, I guess. But that yeah, he's gone.
Yeah, no point crying over spilt milk. We're not getting him back anytime soon. So
no,
we gotta put up with what we have until the window opens, which thankfully isn't too far away.
Well, we can chat. There's been a couple of rumours I've seen floating about, but yeah, I mean, the Düsseldorf game. So it's like second half. You mentioned already, Fatzlihi going crazy. What was your perspective?
It's just fucking daft. We've spoken before about some naivety in the team, and I just see that as another example of it. That's the last thing we need.
Yeah.
Whenever you're 1-0 down away from home, is a soft fucking stupid yellow card. He's young and he'll learn from it, so I gotta give him the benefit of the doubt and hope that he'll learn from it and not do it again. But fucking hell, that was so stupid.
I mean, there were 30 minutes of the game left. It was, I mean, as you said, experience and just keeping your head, because it wasn't even the guy that he fouled either. Like, yeah, it's just pointless. And then quite clearly a headbutt. Right? He looked surprised when the red card was issued. It's like, dude, are you serious?
He must have been expecting it. I mean, it wasn't a vicious headbutt by any stretch. He just sort of like had a little flick of the head, but that's enough these days. And of course, the Düsseldorf player was waiting for it. He's well within his right to hit the deck and pretend like he's been shot, because he's just
doing basically the right thing and getting Faslihi sent off for something stupid.
Yeah, and well, Zaliakas nearly followed him as well. I don't know whether you saw Zaliakas getting argy-bargy and trying to get stuck in the middle of the mixer as well and squaring up to everybody and anybody. I mean, he's already demonstrated he's a loose cannon, bit of a live wire, and he could have been following down the tunnel as well. To be fair,
He's got that dog in him.
yeah, I mean, you need it.
Tell.
You need that though, and you love that sometimes. But no, after we just had one sent off, please, like let's limit the damage in one go. But I mean,
I don't know if I don't really want to be jumping too far ahead, but in the Kiel match, did you see Eric Smith got brought down, and I think it was him who was fouled rather than him who committed the foul. But he he could have got sent off for trying to headbutt Vreet. Luckily, he was on the ground, so he only made contact with his knee. But I don't know what the rules are for headbutts to the knee, if that counts or not. But he had to be careful there.
Oh, geez, I didn't see it. No, I only saw the last 10, 15 minutes of the game because I was packing. So I mean, we'll get to the Kiel game in a second. But yeah, I didn't get to watch much of it, which sucks, but had to be done.
So even after that sending off from Fazli, it didn't really change the game an awful lot, did it? Because Düsseldorf were just protecting the lead at that stage, so we still had most of the ball. It was still just us trying to break down a stubborn defence and just having to be careful on the break, but not a whole lot.
We made the substitution, the trio again, with Otto and was it Metcalf and who else was it? Zander came on. So we had the three substitution recipe. Same, I think last time it worked quite well against Darmstadt, but this time not so much. And I think Otto came close a couple of times, but still none of his shots were on target. It was just he was able to get a shot away. That's the only improvement. That was it.
Yeah, I mean there was a lot to improve on as well. So
yeah, I think we're texting the afterwards going, oh, for God's sake. We were both pretty miffed about it, but yeah, that's why we were kind of hoping that we'd set things right against Kiel. But Düsseldorf wasn't our day. Shit happens. We've had a lot of them already this season. Move on, focus to the next one, and yeah.
And if my voice recording is in any way half decent and you can actually hear me through the crowds, then I'll drop it in here so that you can hear my ramblings post match.
Okay. I've not heard those yet. I'm gonna have to go listen to that as well.
I just walked out of the stadium now. That second half was pretty fucking rough, you know. Obviously the sending off didn't help things, but even still, we didn't create a lot of chances. Anytime we did, they got blasted over the top. Just fucking wasn't great all round, to be perfectly honest. Even the slew of changes, they helped sort of, you know, but not enough to make a difference, really. Yeah, well, it's just same old story away from home. Something's got to change.
And after the match in Düsseldorf, I ran into our friend from the Bristol St. Pauli Supporters Club. He's a good lad. Give me a little badge and everything. So big shout out to him. And he's going to be sending me some Bristol St. Pauli stickers. So I look forward to getting those in the post.
Whoa! You got a badge?
Only one, sorry to say, and it's staying with me.
You have to start going out and meeting people. You're having all sorts of these kind of connections now through this. This is awesome.
It's called networking, Trev. You should try it sometime.
Too busy being lazy. All right, sweet. I'll get to a game with you soon. We need to get a game sorted out in the new year and get fan club people along as well.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
Sweet. So, how many games away now, and still just 2 points? No win, just 2 points. It's dire, really, really bad.
Mate, we haven't kept a clean sheet away from home since the second game week of last season. So that's 24 games.
Wow, I didn't know. That's insane.
And this was the first time this year we've conceded less than 2 goals in an away game. So progress, if you want to look at it that way.
Good, you're always silver lining kind of guy. That's why we chat. That's why we go well.
Yeah, it was a disappointment, especially then looking at the table and seeing us all the way down in 16th.
Yeah,
like
that's
in relegation positions. It's
danger zone.
Tough one.
Yeah, it's never fun because, I mean, complete contrast to last season, right? We were sitting first, 10 points going into the Winterpause. But, you know, that didn't materialize. It's a different season, different team, different mindset, and new challenge. So it's how we react to this. So we have to get our shit in order very, very quickly.
I don't think we're a long way off, which sounds probably stupid if you
Crazy.
look at our results and if you look at our league position. It probably sounds way too optimistic, but I think our midfield is great. I think we have the midfield of a promotion contender team, and our defence, whenever everyone is fully fit, is definitely good enough for a promotion contender team. It's just, I know I sound like a broken record, but it's just the attack, and it's not. We're probably only a couple of pieces off of being a really good team and getting higher up the league. It's just that's a big if, finding the right players who are going to come in and make the difference.
Well, I mean, before we jump at the Kiel game, there's rumours obviously floating around that we chatted about earlier, with a former Haas foul man being lined up, Mr. La Sorga. Any thoughts, any reservations about him?
My main reservation is that he's without a club. So, what are they seeing in him that everybody else is missing? And is it just another case of Boneman being stingy and not wanting to sink into the club's coffers and actually pay decent money for the striker that we need? Because it's not like we're a club with poor finances. We're probably in the top 5 of incomes in the Zweite Bundesliga. There should be money there to spend. So I'd hope that we're not selling ourselves short here by trying to get someone on a free or another loan player in of some youngster who can't hack it at this level.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, La Sorga is a credible player at this level, even higher. So he's played nearly 130 games in the Bundesliga and scored 34. So that's a much better goal ratio than most of our current options. And in the Zweite Bundesliga, he scored nearly 1 in every 2 games. So 60 games, nearly 30 goals, with 9 assists on top of that as well. So, I mean, we can all be transfer marked, right? But he seems like a different class, a different pedigree. I think he's free because, I don't know, he's playing in Qatar, maybe got a huge paycheck. The clubs just go bust over there randomly, right? The sheikh pulls the plug or something, I don't know, whatever. Don't know what the story is, but if he's free and he wants to move back to Hamburg and he's a proven goal scorer at this level and above, bite.
He's played his last 3 years in Qatar. It's not like he went over for one season for a big payday and then kept up his fitness. God knows what sort of shape he's in.
Very good point. Yep.
You can be sure as shit that the Qatari league isn't as competitive as the Zweite Bundesliga.
What about the dritte Bundesliga?
Fuck off, man. Let's not even go there. I don't want to hear it.
All right, we're a joke. I don't want to talk about that. Oh man, brutal. But yeah,
it's actually a disgrace that we're in this position now. We were probably joking about being in relegation battle only fucking 4 or 5 weeks ago, and now here we are. The reality is set in.
Yeah, it's no good. We need to fix that very, very quickly. So, because I mean, obviously the Kiel game we get to in a second ago, and then there's one game left against Karlsruher, and then it's the Winterpause, and then we go again. We've got 18 games left, right? So halfway through the season. No, 17 games. 18 teams, 17 games to sort shit out.
If we do, God forbid, do the the unforgivable and end up spending next year in the third division. Can you imagine what our lightweight strikers and Amaniero, Dashner, and Eggestein are going to do there? They're going to even have a tougher time in that league, probably.
Yep. Let's not talk about it.
Yeah.
Steer well clear of that topic. I mean, fast forward 4 months or something, and maybe it's something that we do need to talk about, but hopefully not.
And again, just going over well-trodden ground with our strikers not only not contributing enough in terms of goals or just the influence on our attack. There's also a big problem of losing possession in the opposition's final third, and that leading to dangerous counters. And it was Dashner and Amaniero up front against Düsseldorf, and between them they lost possession 27 times.
Dude, that's brutal. I was going to say that the unforced errors in the Düsseldorf game was insane. Like not just those two guys, but everyone. It was horrifying. I meant to look at the statistics to see what the total was. Can you see what that was for the whole team?
I don't have that on hand for the whole team.
Okay, I'll need to look that up.
I'm just picking on the two strikers, but I think they were two of the worst defenders, definitely.
That's fine. It just seemed like the whole team was losing the ball left, right, and centre. It's mad. But yeah, going into the Kiel game, there were a few changes though, not too many. But obviously, he had to be replaced, and I think Bifus came in. And then Afiz was dropped, and then the front two were dropped.
Yeah. So as you said, Fazlihi had to be replaced, and he got a 3-match suspension as well.
3-match, wow.
Pretty rough.
Early Christmas plans for him then, because he can't play the first game in the new year either, so he's off until February now.
Yeah, right enough. I wonder if it was planned.
Yeah, he's taking a 4-month vacation.
But I think, and Connor Metcalf also came into the starting 11.
Yes, good.
I think a lot of fans would have been pleased to have seen the shake-up in the starting 11, just hoping that it would unlock something, or someone would step up. And it was just extremely tame, and a shit match all around. I don't know, I just feel like a moany bastard again, and who the fuck wants to listen to this? But I don't know how to fucking sprinkle hundreds and thousands on this pile of shit of a match. You know, it was pretty fucking boring.
Any positive takeaway? Give us something.
Yeah. I mean, like, the players weren't awful. I mean, they did keep a clean sheet. We're still unbeaten at home. And the thing is through this entire bad run, we haven't been awful. We've been decent. We're just lacking a killer edge. And you could, like, if you watched any of those games where we've drawn 7 and we lost 6. If you watch any of those in isolation, you'd be like, all right, like, it could have gone one way or another. There's just a bit of luck here, a bit of luck there. Someone missed a chance, or not even. It's just who takes advantage of the mistakes and who doesn't. You'd be forgiven for thinking, that's just one of those days. But collectively, whenever you look at it, it's 13 games. It's happening way too often, you know. So while it does seem to be small margins, there is a common theme there, and it's so fucking frustrating because you can't put your finger on it all the time, you know.
I should say we're drawing too many games, and it's fine margins, right? That is that moment of lapse of concentration or a moment of luck or something, but we're losing the games away by a goal. Most of the time, it's just one goal or something, like the Düsseldorf, etc. But that's again from taking our eye off the ball or a lapse of concentration or an error of some sort, like just giving the ball away in dangerous positions, and then on the back foot. But yeah, it all ties in because last year if we went a goal down, it's like, it's fine, we'll score 2, it's fine.
Yeah.
Right? This year,
Exactly.
that's not the case. Like, shit, we're a goal behind. We've lost 1-0.
That's such a good point because it makes those little errors that lead to a goal become all the more significant when then you
Yes,
yourself aren't scoring goals.
that's true.
Um,
It adds more fear, I suppose. Like, we're playing with fear. Like, hey, I can't make a mistake. I can't make a mistake. But then we make shitloads of mistakes anyway, because
yeah,
it's a double-edged sword, right?
I remember at the Millerntor last year, anytime we went 1-0 down, it was sort of like the crowd got behind and they were like, "Oh, here we go! They're fucking in for it now. They've woken a sleeping beast,"
Yeah.
and now it's like, "Oh, holy shit, we're fucked."
The fans still get behind. To be fair, like, you still hear them chanting, but it's maybe a little bit more nervous, I suppose. Like, in the back of the mind, it's
Yeah,
like, oh shit, right? Not last time. There's the belief.
and even like that, so there might be a bit of belief lacking in the stands, but also in the squad. I think
Yeah,
because they must know full well that we have a problem scoring goals and creating good chances. So
they're not
it must
idiots, right?
weigh on them. Yeah,
They're not idiots. They know they've been playing football for a while. They're football fans. They know the problems more than anybody, but the problem is that they're the ones that have to fix it. So it's and it's yeah, very very difficult thing to do.
and I think the reason why I think the reason why we haven't seen many wholesale changes to the team is because it's been fine margins and we haven't been getting blown out of the water by teams. So everyone's just thinking, oh, it's gonna come good, or maybe just some small tweak will be the key. Um, but it looks like Düsseldorf was it was either that Düsseldorf was the straw that broke the camel's back, and Timo Schultz thought now was the time to freshen things up, or maybe it was just because there was going to be so many games in quick succession. He felt like the team needed some fresh legs, but
Yeah,
we did
maybe.
see a lot of changes against Kiel, but
Yeah,
it was the same old story really. It didn't have the desired effect.
yeah. It's a shame. Like I think it's good that Metcalf got a game because he played well, and obviously with the disappointing news to him, obviously today with the Australia squad announcing him missing out, Jackson Irvine included, of course, which is great. I think that was mostly expected, but there's high hope that Conor Metcalf would be included as well. So I feel very bad for him because when he's played well, and he's an integral part to the Australia squad in qualifying and stuff. But it's just it's nice that he got to play today. Maybe that is weighing on his mind as well, but he didn't seem to play bad or anything. So I don't know. It's just
He didn't, yeah. He didn't play bad, but he didn't have a great game. He struggled to really impose himself in the match.
yeah,
Had a couple of wayward passes, and whenever he did eventually get replaced by a Fees, you could see that we were a lot more assured in the midfield, and Kiel were getting less opportunities just because a Fees is a lot more defensively minded than Connor. But again, this is only his second start, I believe. So
yeah.
um,
There have not been many, that's for sure. But
yeah,
well, I mean, with that then, so I can't comment too much on the game. I didn't watch it. It just finished 15, 20 minutes ago. What was the synopsis? What's your takeaway from the Kiel game in a nutshell, right? Because there's not much to shout about again, I guess.
yeah. I'm trying to think of a different take that won't be the exact same
Because
as
I
the
mean, looking at the
Düsseldorf
stats
match
now,
because
as I'm looking at the stats now, they had more shots on goal, they had more attempts in total, and drew more saves. So looking at that immediately, it's like, oh shit.
they also had more possession, and that's
Yeah,
the first time this year that we've had less possession than the opposition and haven't won. I think I talked about this before. The only other three times we've had less possession than the opposition, we've actually come away with the win.
there are only
So
3 wins as well. So you're right.
yeah, and I mean they are a good side. They're a decent side, but they weren't great either. It was a poor game that was lacking in quality. And if if someone was going to break the deadlock, it'd probably be a set piece or something like that. And they did threaten in the first half with set pieces. There was good delivery by Lewis Holtby, which caused us problems at the back. And their striker, Vreet, seemed like a bit of a handful, but Eric Smith did really well up against him, even though he was a big physical player. And actually, just watching him play, it made me just jealous that they have a focal point in their attack, someone to aim at whenever they're in trouble, someone to hold up the ball. Because a lot of the time, whenever we try and break on the counter, there's no one who can hold up the ball and wait for everybody to get up and support. There's not enough fast players for a fast break. So the opposition just get back into their shape, and then we're trying to break down these two blocks again.
Yeah.
So there's no opportunity to exploit these transitional moments. It happened once in the first half, about halfway through, where Hartle looked like it was going to be a fast break counter, and he doesn't have the pace. There weren't enough options. It just had to be moved backwards, and there's a bit of a groan from the crowd because, I mean, it's not his fault. There was nothing else on, but you would hope that there'd at least be someone in the team with a bit of pace to break those lines, but we just don't have it.
Yeah, totally true. And it's a decision making for that too as well, because it's knowing as a striker when you receive the ball up top whether to hold it and wait for support or whether you're trying to take them on. But I mean, we've seen it countless times over the last 4, 5, 6, 10 games now, where it seems to be that we're making the wrong decision 90% of the time.
Yeah, and then losing the ball in bad positions.
Yeah, I mean, it's relatively easy to get the ball to the attacking third, right? So, but then it's 80% of the work is to then get the ball towards the goal to make a goal scoring opportunity. It's just football, right? So it's easy to get towards the edge of their box or their final third, but then it requires something to unlock it, unless it's a counter attack, right? But the way that we play lately, it's gradual build up from the back and through the middle, or down the wings, yada yada yada. But then it requires something, either a cross or a bit of magic or a nice intricate 1-2 play or something, just something that opens them. But we're not doing any of that. We're just crossing it in to Dashner or Amanito, and fruitless.
I completely agree. It happens so much, especially in the first half, where the ball would just get passed about the midfield and it would eventually end up
That's easy.
wide with Packer, Saliakas.
Anyone can do that. Like kids football does that. Like it's the easiest part of the game. Retaining possession. You do that as drills all the time. But it's the bit that counts, which is in the final third, trying to create and score a goal. That's the thing that we're just, and you put it down on that before as well. The creative strikers, is it the movement? Is it the creative ability? Is it the finishing? Is it all three? Because it's leaning towards that one.
Yeah, and then we're missing a player like a Cheery who can beat a man, or who has that bit of magic, who can unlock the door. I mean, I think why our midfield is so good is because they are a bit more possession orientated. With even whenever we had Eric Smith in there, whether it be him or Fees, and then Jackson Irvine and Hoddle, they're all very good on the ball, all very good at keeping possession and passing. But they're not exactly risk takers. They'd more be defensively minded, or like Hoddle, who would be more of like a technician.
But it takes us back to that other point as well. Maybe they would be a bit more creative, and they were last season, if they had the confidence that the defence would be able to clean things up.
I don't know if it's... See, like last year, we would have... That wasn't really Jackson's role at all. He would have been deeper because we had Jerry to do all that for him, and now we're relying on him more and more to provide something in the attack, which isn't necessarily his game, even though he does it well, don't get me wrong. Yeah. And Hoddle does have the ability, but you're asking a lot of them.
Well, asking the wrong things of them. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like, you can't change your spots, so to speak, right? You can do your best to fulfill that role, but if that's not what you've trained or specialised in, because I mean most footballers are specialised in those roles and those skills. That's what they've trained for from kids through to adulthood. Yeah, I mean you can have slight variances in your role and such, but to suddenly be asked from one season to the next, okay, can you, instead of being a defensive midfielder, can you please now be our main goal scoring attacking threat? Cheers, mate.
Yeah. So I don't think it's not. It might even take more than a striker in the window. We should probably be looking at attacking midfielders or creative midfielders as well. It's going to mean that, you know, we'll pretty much have a completely new look front line then if we get in one or two strikers and an attacking midfielder. But you can't really argue with that. You can't say that any one of the strikers or attacking midfielders can hold their hands up and say that they've done enough to keep their place.
I think that's fair. I mean, as you say, it's if you're doing a shit job in your day job of, I don't know, who is it? Was it Henri who was like, you don't congratulate a postman for delivering the post or something, right? If you're a postman, you're not delivering the post, you get sacked, right? So if you're a striker and you're not fulfilling, then you know your career prospects or something in that job, your employer saying to Pauli, like, okay, right, you're not fulfilling, therefore we need to find someone who will fulfill that, and we need to move you on.
Was that Postman one Balotelli? It definitely rings a bell.
Balotelli, that's the one. Yeah, it's someone like that. Yeah. Maybe it's Balotelli. How can I get mixed up with Henri and Balotelli? Oh my god, cut that bit.
I think Balotelli's in the lower leagues in Italy somewhere. Maybe we can go drag him out of bed. That'll be fun.
There we go. That could be entertaining. Although you need to be very, very cautious with that one. He's a bit of a. If we think Zeliakis is a loose cannon, God.
Yeah, I know. But at least we're unbeaten at home.
Yes, that's
still.
Crazy, right? That still goes back to beginning of April. I think it was against Darmstadt where we lost. So that's still intact. But a lot of them last year were wins when we were at home, where we were undefeated for I think we won every game up until maybe it's March or something. All of our home games beginning of the season, but we're just drawing them all now.
I mean, I think it would be a lot more depressing if we were sitting here towards the bottom of the league. Well, obviously, because we played today and a lot of other teams are playing tomorrow. We are out of the relegation zone at that point, but that's probably going to change tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it would be even worse if we were down there and it was like, you sort of felt like that's where we deserve to be or that's the level that we're at. You know, it doesn't feel like that at all. I think we can and we will improve. I refuse to believe otherwise.
As a Tranmere Rovers fan, I'm used to that, so it's that's just my normal football fandom. But from the St. Pauli experience so far, play very nice football and a huge fan base, and it's exciting sometimes, especially on the highs of last season. It's quite the polar opposite this year, but we need to. It's not far away. Like as you said, it seems like there's just a tweak or two that needs doing, and shit will be right. But we just need to find out what that tweak is. It's like I know Schultz and the team are trying to figure out what it might be, changing the attacking options, changing the shape, changing maybe the approach. I'm sure they're trying different things on the training ground and stuff as well, but it just isn't having the desired effect yet.
Not yet, but there's a big break after our next match against Karlsruhe, so there'll be plenty of time on the training pitch to try and set things right.
For sure.
But the only issue is that I don't know if it's a training pitch issue. I think it might be more of a personnel issue, but I don't know. I have faith in Schule to even if we don't get anyone else in the door, which I would be furious about. I still think that we can get out of this predicament.
Sure.
So is Karlsruhe away? That is Saturday, right?
Yeah, it's this weekend. Yeah, this Saturday.
1:00 kickoff Saturday. Yeah. So Karlsruhe, you would think would be a good time to play them because they've lost their last 5 in the league. But if you've
No,
been
don't say
watching
that,
St.
man.
Pauli
'Cause
this season, you'll know that that is a poison chalice. If ever you've seen one where Charity FC, whenever it comes to teams who are on a bad run of form, would just hand out 3 points, and it's away from home, so we haven't won away from home. But other than that, I'm sure it's going to be absolutely fine, and we'll storm to a 4-0 victory, right?
you're grinding your teeth there as you say that.
Yeah, you can see that I don't believe that in my eyes.
I mean, just look at the bottom of the league here. So the teams around us, like Magdeburg, Greuther Fürth, Sandhausen, Arminia Bielefeld, all won their last game.
Yeah,
Right, so
but we could go above Karlsruhe if we beat them.
yeah,
Luckily,
fair enough. Okay, yeah, that's true. Yeah, we go. Wow, yeah, look at from ninth, which is Regensburg, all the way down to the bottom of the league. So the bottom half of the table is separated by 4 points.
yeah, I think it's
Tight.
like this next match is absolutely massive because
It's a 6
not
pointer.
not only do we need those points so bad, but also just for the attitude of the team to go into this break, not being in the relegation zone, and
Yeah,
off the
that's what
back
the
of a
last two
win.
games were as
And
well. That's what Düsseldorf, that's what Kiel were for as well. But
yeah,
haven't materialised. We haven't stepped up. Is it going to be any different for Karlsruhe?
and I don't want to be one of those idiots who are getting led around blindly by the stats, but hear me out. If they aren't that bad, we're still like, as much as it looks like we're not creating enough, we're still doing pretty decent in the XG table, and in terms of defending, the XG against isn't that bad. And I know some people will be pulling their fucking hair out at this, just being like, go watch the fucking match if you think that's true. Go watch us play football, and then you might change your opinion.
Yeah,
But
right.
there is something in that. There's got to be. These teams don't invest fucking hundreds of thousands or millions in statisticians and people to review all this for nothing. We're close.
Are you a
I
big
hope.
stats person? Is that your?
I do love a good stat. Yeah. Well, especially if it's backing up my previously held view, then
Okay. Yeah.
perfect. Yeah.
What if it's against your previously held view? Do you just disregard it and let that fuck
Chuck it out the window. Yeah. Stats are useless. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I know people like you, usually flat earthers.
I should have been a lawyer, man.
Yeah, right. Yeah, man. Career change. Let's go.
Oh,
Too
well.
late.
Time to
5 years
retrain.
at school. No thanks.
Yeah.
Sweet.
All right, man. We'll chat to everyone next week to go over whatever happens in Karlsruhe. Hopefully, it's the first away win of the season, and we're going into the break on a high.
That'd be nice. Yeah. Otherwise, we'll have to double our beer dosage and then think about what we do over the winter. Like, obviously, there's no games for us to cover and stuff. I'm sure we can squeeze an episode or two in between. Maybe we just cover Australia. Fuck it, why not? Jackson Irvine watch. But yeah, and hopefully there's some transfer news and stuff for us to check out as well. But more on that in due course. Anyway, absolute pleasure as always. Get well soon, and yeah, all eyes on the big game this coming Saturday.
Yeah. All right. Cheers, Trev. Nice chatting to
Ciao,
you.
ciao. As
Bye.
always. Bye.